Right, like you get a few water droplets in your mouth if you're up in areas of Beach Mountain, because we do have some of those low-hanging clouds right now, guys. It's 41 degrees, and you do see that dense fog up across areas of the high country. Now, not everybody is seeing dense fog out there. Let's go ahead and get to your Election Day forecast. 44 degrees out there by 8 a.m. So just heads up, if you are heading to the polls today, I would say probably going to need that light jacket out there this morning, and continue to hang on to that as you head into the afternoon. By noon, about 52 degrees. Come 4 p.m., look at that. I mean, temperatures are hardly moving, roughly 56, and still hanging tight to those clouds. Those will continue as we head into the time the polls are closing, right around 7:30 out there this evening. So temperatures still going to be cooler than average by just a couple of degrees. We're still wedged in, so that Monday wedge continuing as we head into Tuesday. But a difference today is I do think our wind direction is going to end up shifting in the middle of the day. So these northeasterly winds going to end up shifting eventually out of the west, probably southwest at times as well. So the speed not an issue, but with those wind direction shifting, I do think some of those clouds could end up breaking. And you'll see what I mean here in future tracks. So this is 1 p.m. about 50 degrees. You're going to be like, it's still cloudy. What's going on? I do think some areas in the high country and the foothills, and then possibly in the sand hills, could end up making it to near 60 if those clouds end up breaking before sunset. Now in Mecklenburg County, Gaston, Lincoln, Cabarrus, Rowan, I really don't think we're going to have much in the way of the clouds breaking, so likely hanging tight in the low to mid 50s for today. So kind of our northwestern areas and southeastern areas going to see some breaks in the clouds. But tomorrow, this stiff southwesterly wind really going to warm us up as a warm front's going to be lifting to the north. We'll be in the mid 70s out there as we head through your Wednesday. So our average high is about 61 degrees. We're to 80 by Thursday, and that will continue as we head into Friday and heading into the weekend. We will see these record highs likely as we head into Friday. Just a few years ago, we reached 80 degrees on the date on Friday, and I'm anticipating a little bit warmer than that as we close out this work week. Now in the way of rain, which we need this time of year, we need a constant line as we have a plethora of different weather hazards and conditions, and that's why we do things like this severe weather preparedness with the help of course, the National Weather Service and state organizers putting these together to, again, help you stay prepared. Right now, thankfully, no severe weather or issues out there at all. 42 in Rock Hill, 39 in Concord, so definitely seeing the clouds. We're looking at Boone this morning, and honestly, you look beautiful. 46 degrees out there, hanging tight to the clouds here in Charlotte, though. I do think some areas across the sandhills and the high country and possibly the foothills will get in on some of those cloud breaks as we head through the day today. But right here in the Piedmont, in the Charlotte area, I'm just not anticipating much of that. So for today, that wedge pretty much still locked in, cloudy and cool again for most of the Piedmont. Again, totally just depends on where you're at. We'll be warming back to the 70s tomorrow, but by the end of the week, staying dry, and 80s will be possible. So your current conditions out there, certainly no 70s, no 80s. It is a cool start, a bit of a misty drizzle, definitely possible. We are seeing a little bit of fog in parts of the high country out there this morning. It's 40 in Charlotte, Shelby, Gastonia, over into Albemarle with Rock Hill sitting at 42. So your day planner, if you're in the Queen City, will likely make it to the mid 50s. If clouds were to break, we could make it to 60. Just not anticipating that. I think, again, here in Mecklenburg County, Lincoln, Cabarrus, Gaston, Cleveland, Rowan, I think kind of the I-85 corridor, we're going to be wedged in with these clouds as we head through the day today. Eventually that wind shifting. Watch what I mean as we head into about 3 p.m. Those clouds start to narrow a little bit, and that's with that wind shift. So areas up in the high country, foothills, sand hills, you guys are actually going to get in on maybe a little bit more in the way of sunshine. and you can see those clouds eventually thinning as we progress into your Wednesday. And that's when those temperatures really start to skyrocket. We're in the 70s with the southwesterly wind. So we have this ridge of high pressure that will be building, leading us to a beautiful forecast, not just for a couple of days. It'll stick around. Just do so much for kids and families every single day, and I feel like they don't get enough praise. So Taylor, thank you for putting that story together. We look at Beach Mountain right now, 41 degrees, and this is our resort cams. I mean, we are dealing with the fog out there this morning. Not everywhere, though, really just from some of our mountain communities this morning. In some areas in the high country, actually getting in on some sun right now as well. It's 46 in Boone. Let's take a second to ingest that. I mean, out of all of our towns here on the map, 46 is the warmest spot, 36 there in Jefferson, 40 here in Charlotte, over into Gastonia and Shelby, along with Albemarle, 37 in Salisbury, and 38 as you head up towards Statesville and Hickory out there this morning. Now for today, we're going to see another kind of wedged in day. So if you are heading to the polls at about 8 a.m., expect that temperature to be about 44 degrees, hanging tight to a decent dose of clouds as we head through the day today. In the morning, in the afternoon, by 4 p.m., skipping out of work a little early to go vote, 56, and still hanging tight to a lot of clouds here in the metro. It does depend on where you're at. By 7 p.m., those temperatures about 56 degrees. The polls do close at 7:30, so get out there and vote today. A pretty good day to do it weather-wise, despite some clouds. Temperatures just about 5 to 6 degrees below average. Now we look at your Tuesday wedge, and we have it once again. I will say, though, it's not as strong as what we had out there yesterday. So this is when we have a high pressure up to the north, banking some of that cold air here against the mountains. And we don't have, yesterday we had absolutely nothing to break this wedge up. Today we'll have a bit of a wind direction shift. So I do anticipate some areas to get in on some sunshine. Of course, up there in the high country, but let's play this out. 1 p.m., a lot of us still filled with clouds. But look what happens right before sunset or for that evening commute. The clouds do start to erode. That wind direction is shifting. Areas in our southeastern counties, the Sandhills, the foothills, even in our northwestern counties, may be getting in on some sun. Now, a lot of us will see the sunshine return and those temperatures go up as we travel through Wednesday. Southwesterly wind will be in the mid 70s as we head through Wednesday. 80 by Thursday. Come Friday, about 82 degrees, and that would beat our record of 80 degrees set several years ago. 80 once again Saturday and heading into Sunday. So the warmth is here, and it's going to stick around for a little bit of time. Now in the way of now in Concord, and if you are up in the high country right now, you are seeing again a little bit of fog for some areas and some clear skies for some areas as well. But we're wedged in, cloudy and cool again today here in the Charlotte metro area. I do think some clouds are, well, I know they're breaking across areas of the high country, but even in parts of the Sandhills, we could get some breaks as some wind direction starts to shift by the middle of the day. We're back to the 70s by Wednesday, and by the end of the week, we are staying dry. 80s possible, really likely by Thursday, Friday, and continuing on into the weekend as well. Let's check these current conditions. It's 41 in Morganton, Boone. You guys are the warm spot on my map here. I can't put every single town. This map would look insane, but at least the towns I have listed: 40 in Shelby and in Charlotte, 37 in Salisbury, and as you head toward Albemarle right now. So we are still dealing with the clouds and this northeasterly wind, and this is going to keep us, the temperatures, a little below average today at about 55 degrees. And again, those clouds hanging tight here across the Charlotte area. You can see it with future track. A little bit of rain possible. I'm talking a stray shower for today. I would be comfortable leaving that rain gear at home for today, but by 3 p.m., look at areas of the high country, even parts of the foothills and then Sandhills could be close to 60, but I don't think we make it there here in Charlotte because of those clouds and the northeasterly wind through the first half of the day today. But we see this massive ridge build, and boy, this is really going to warm us up, not just for a day or two, but for several days through the end of the week. And as we hang 47 in Boone, certainly not bad for you. you, 42 in Wadesboro. Let's get right to that election day forecast for you, though. By 8 a.m., about 44 degrees. Come noon, we're still hanging tight to those clouds out there, about 52 degrees. Come 4 p.m., I think some areas across the high country into the foothills and possibly the sandhills could end up losing some of that cloud cover, meaning your temperatures might be a little bit closer to 60 if some of those clouds break. But overall, a pretty gray day out there for your voting. Polls do close at 7:30, and right around that time, those temperatures will be probably about low to mid 50s, more so mid 50s. So we do still have this Tuesday wedge where colder air kind of banks against the mountains and pools right here in the Charlotte area. And that's what we'll see as we head through today with wind shifting. So look at northeasterly winds eventually shifting out of the west southwest. Not much of a breeze, 5 to 10 miles per hour today. But with that wind shift, again, we could see some clouds break. Not through the first half of the day, though. This will be after about lunchtime. So I'll pause future track right about 5 p.m. So evening commute. We do still have that thin layer of clouds, especially over the Charlotte area. So not anticipating much sun for Mecklenburg, even into areas of Cabarrus, Lincoln, Gaston, Cleveland, Rowan, Union, York. Those areas likely going to see a decent dose of clouds as we head through the day today. Tonight, temperatures not getting to freezing, actually holding at about upper 40s to near 50s. So a pretty mild night on tap tonight. A stiff southwesterly wind pulling up the spring warmth as we head into Wednesday. 76 degrees for you guys, 80 as we head into Thursday. Come Friday, we'll likely break a record, 82 degrees. Breakfast is such an important meal. So let's talk a little bit about when kids skip breakfast. What is that doing to their brain and their body?
Right, exactly. Our breakfasts are very nutrient dense, meaning there's high fiber you could get for your students.
Okay, I see fruit and dairy as a common theme here. Those must be big, getting your protein and your good vitamins and stuff.
Right.
But I don't want to say, back when Kaitlin and I were in school, we had the food pyramid, but I know that's not the case anymore, right?
Correct.
What are we on now?
Right. So I'm so glad you think so. It is amazing. And like you said, thinking of
a huge need for nutritious breakfast throughout the school district. I know that free and reduced lunch is a huge deal across the country, but including here in CMS, right?
Absolutely. So CMS school breakfast is at no charge to any student at CMS.
Offer that to our kids.
Absolutely. They established that back in 2012.
Oh, wow.
Because they realized the need and the importance, right, of breakfast we just talked about.
And maybe some kids just not eating because they couldn't afford it. They didn't
Correct.
have. Oh, I love that. Okay, so do you guys have any changes coming up for the school year in terms of the lunches
or
breakfast? Or
the coolest thing about CMS school nutrition that I just like to brag about is we're constantly.
We never had waffles.
Right.
We didn't have salads. I mean,
right?
that's pretty incredible.
Sweet potato fries too, it looks like.
Right.
That's awesome.
So tomorrow we're actually celebrating brunch for lunch. So
Oh, so fun.
A couple of these meals that you'll see right here, your chicken and Dutch wall. Sneak it in and you just can't even tell, right? And our students, of course, can get fresh fruit. They can get dried fruit, which I love for the students to throw in their backpack if they want it for after school activities, right? And then the fresh vegetables, and of course,
Kaitlin, James, now you can't go wrong with a good old breakfast.
A good old breakfast. So this is brand new tomorrow. Is our breakfast
on rising.
Our new breakfast burrito. It is a turkey sausage, egg, and cheese. It's
Kaitlin
beautiful.
friendly.
Yeah, I love a turkey sausage. That is so great.
And of course the beautiful vegetables. These new potato roasters.
Packed kids and families. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate to have such an incredible team, and we do it for the students first, right?
Amazing. Yes.
All right, well, let's go ahead and toss it over to our weather-wise forecast. I know we've got a lot of...
At least for the duration of as we head towards spring into summer. We could, but it's really not looking too likely. By the end of the week, we're staying dry, and guys, we're talking 80s back in the forecast. So current conditions right now, 41 in Morganton and in Gastonia, 40 in Charlotte right now. 47 is that warm spot on the map as you head up toward areas of the high country. So as temperatures start to rise, they kind of just steady out at about mid 50s today because of those clouds and the start of those northeasterly winds. However, today which we did not see yesterday. We will have that wind direction shift, which could break up some of these clouds. And then eventually tonight, a warm front will lift to the north and totally changing our weather pattern. Those southwesterly winds and those temperatures do start to kick up. So we're looking at future track 3 p.m. A lot of abundant cloud cover. So we're still below average in the peak heating of the day, about 51 degrees for Charlotte. But now let's pause this at about 8 p.m. Notice how some of these clouds are starting to erode in the sandhills and heading into areas of the high country as well. So overnight lows tonight with the southwesterly wind will only bottom out at about upper 40s to near 50. So pretty much where we're going to top out at tonight, once again, will be our low. But then this massive ridge of high pressure will build, and boy, we stay warm as we head into the end of this week and heading into the weekend. Here's that of some clouds, some low end visibility out there in areas of the high country, but actually the high country, you guys are quite warm. The warmest spot on my map here, 48 degrees for you up in Boone, 41 in Morganton and in Charlotte, along with Monroe, 37 as you head towards Salisbury. So it is a cool start to the day. These temperatures will rise by about 10 degrees or so. So certainly not going to be drastic if you are heading out to the polls right now. Of course, those temperatures are pretty much in the 40s by noon, about 52. So even despite us going closer to the peak heating of the day, we're not warming up too much because we are still going to be wedged in. I do think a lot of us hang tight to the clouds even by 4 p.m. Some of us in the sandhills and across the foothills could start to see some eroding clouds out there, which means your 4 p.m. temps could be closer to 60 if you see fewer clouds. But most of us will hover in the mid 50s for today. By 7 p.m. about 56. The polls do close at 7:30 this evening. And that is when a warm front's going to lift to the north, knock out this wedge, and that's where we're going to warm up. So we look at today's breezy forecast, not so much too breezy, about 5 to 10 miles per hour, but I do want to show you this, and that's the wind direction. These northeasterly winds, all due because of the high pressure to the north and again clockwise rotation, giving us this northeasterly wind, but wind direction will shift, and that's why I'm thinking some areas could end up with a little less in the way of cloud cover. So future track by 1 p.m. shows these highs, or these temperatures, in the upper 40s to near 50. Will likely increase these temperatures to about mid 50s as we head through the day today. Notice we'll stay rain free. Warm front lifts to the north, and watch these temperatures in the southwesterly wind. We'll be warming into the mid 70s as we head through the day on Wednesday. 80 by Thursday, not record breaking yet until we get to Friday. Getting past that 80 degree point, 82 is possible on Friday, 80 by Saturday, and then heading into Sunday as well. So we have a very warm forecast considering our average high is 61. We'll be 20 degrees above average. 42 in Rock Hill, 39 in Concord. Joe, thanks. You were about to have my back. He was about to throw some punches. 48 in Boone, and we do have some blue sky out there up in the high country. Actually, a little bit of dense fog too. So a little bit of everything up in the mountains, but actually you guys are a little bit warmer as you head up toward the high country. 37 in Jefferson, 38 in Salisbury. Good morning, Gastonia. You guys are sitting at 41 and 40 right now in Shelby. So for today, similar to what we had yesterday, definitely thinking more clouds out there today because we are still wedged in with this northeasterly wind, especially through the first half of the day. I do think that the wind direction will end up shifting as we head into the second half of the day, which could knock back some of the cloud cover for parts of the area. Still anticipate the clouds to hang tight though here across the Charlotte metro, bringing our highs a little bit about 6 degrees below the average high of 61, likely going to be in the mid 50s out there. You look at 3 p.m. And this is what I'm talking about. Some clouds could be eroding in areas of the high country, heading into the foothills and then our southeastern counties as well. But here across the Piedmont, really the central parts of the area, like Charlotte into Gaston County, Lincoln, Cleveland, maybe even areas of Catawba, heading into Rowan County, you guys likely going to be locked in with those clouds, meaning temperatures just not going to warm up too much. But just hang on because they really warm up. Even starting tomorrow, you'll notice a huge difference. We have this massive ridge of high pressure building in. So check out these temperatures. I mean, 76. The taste of spring is Wednesday. You think, all right, we'll stop there. I mean, that's pretty warm. No, we're not. We're going to be 80.